welcome. Thank you for checking me out. And I'm going to tell you my qualifications first of all for this video. And I don't have a background in law, although I've studied quite a bit of law and I've been in court a number of times. You can trust me, this does work. And for examples of how it works and proof, you can look in a playlist that I have on my channel called Claimants Education. Okay, that's going to be a real good resource for you guys to check out. And this video is kind of why that works and how it works, and it'll give you the tools you need to successfully discharge any ticket, no problem. I've personally used it for several parking tickets, 2 speeding tickets, 3 no registration tickets, 1 no license ticket, or 2 actually, and no insurance, I believe. Maybe 2 of those, but definitely 1. I've also used it to get rid of a $300 bank fine from Wells Fargo, bank fee. I've used it to get rid of several $100s worth of tolls and those bridge tolls and stuff like that you have to, nuisances basically is what I call them. I've used it to get rid of, I think that's it. Oh, 2 times the California Franchise Tax Board tried to charge me some money, and I used it on them too to get rid of about $700 each. I haven't registered my cars in about 6 years, and I no longer have a valid California driver's license, and I seem to have no problems anymore. So the way this is going to be is I'm going to give you some background info that's helpful first. A lot of people may know this already. That's going to last about 2-3 minutes. Then I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to say in court, the outline, and then I'm going to give you the tools that you need to know why those things are said. And that way, if something is, a little bit different about your experience, which it probably will be, then you'll know how to handle it properly. And again, you can use this to get rid of any ticket. It doesn't matter if you were caught on camera. I was caught on camera the first time I used this technique, and I mean, the cop said to me in court, she goes, I don't know why you're trying to fight this. I got you on camera. And I whispered back, it doesn't matter. Okay. And it was pretty, it takes a lot of guts though, I will say that. You gotta practice it. Okay, so here's your background info. First off, a person is defined as an individual person, but it can also be a natural or artificial entity, and that's per the USC, and I've got it written down because it seems like a lot of people want proof. I noticed that the viewership on this, people don't really want to discharge their tickets because they left after maybe 3 minutes. But here it is. These are important things to know. Person, and this is per 18 USC 2510-6. Person is any individual person as well as a natural or legal entity. Okay. Remember, you're not an entity. You are a man or woman, period. Definition of a driver means a person that drives a commercial motor vehicle in cross-border long hauls, trucking services, and other things of that nature. Blah, blah, blah. 19 USC 4571 6. Section 457 1, subsection 6. Motor vehicle means every description of carriage or other contrivance propelled or drawn by mechanical power and used for commercial purposes. That means passengers for hire or towing, hauling property or things of that nature, not for traveling. And that's 18 USC Chapter 2. California Vehicle Code says an automobile is a passenger vehicle that does not transport persons for hire. Now, every state has their own little version of this tricky wording. They say a commercial vehicle is one required to be registered in California. Now, think about that for a moment. If you're required to register your vehicle, they're saying that it is a commercial vehicle right then and there. So that's very important to know too. Now, I wrote some other things down here that we're not really going to get too much into, but I want you, if you don't believe me about this, you can look up Calvin Washington and law merchant. Look up those 2 terms on YouTube, and you'll see a gentleman who uses a law merchant because our courts are under that jurisdiction as well, but they don't tell you that. But he's used it, and a big component of that is very similar to the UCC. In fact, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. It could be the UCC that these courts are under, or it could be law merchant. I'm sure they're under law merchant. and UCC, but it doesn't matter for these purposes. They both would be fine, because there's a concept called honor and dishonor, and you can conditionally honor something. So in other words, if somebody makes a claim in court and you're going to honor that claim, their claim, that means you either pay it or do what they say or whatever. You just, okay, yeah, they're right, and you go along with it. If you dishonor it, that means you're arguing against it, or you're not. You're just saying you're not going to do it, or you say nothing. That's dishonor as well. And if you're in dishonor, then you lose. That's what it means. And so, but there's a third option, and that's conditionally honoring a presentment or a claim. Now, we're going to go into court, and we're not going to be claimants. We're going to ask questions only, so we're not going to make claims. And that's very important, because once there's two claims, then the judge has something to rule on. But if there's only one party making a claim and you're agreeing with them conditionally, then there is no court, really. There's nothing for the judge to rule on. And that conditional acceptance of the presentment is going to be, you'll accept whatever they're saying as long as you get to meet and speak with the claimant. That's it. Okay, so... and you can look up, by the way, the UCC Connection in a book by David Robinson. It's called The UCC Connection, and I own it. But that'd be a good resource if you guys are kind of doubting me. There's also two constitutions in this country. One is by the one constitution for the United States and one constitution of the United States. And I forget which is which, but the second one that's the one that establishes that we are, the United States is a corporation, and we're actually under corporate law, and it functions under that. So I know this is getting a little deep for a lot of people. A lot of people know exactly what I'm talking about, but bear with me. I'll get to the good stuff. But you should know this stuff. Okay. Now, here's what's going to happen. Remember, you can use this for any ticket. It doesn't matter. You go in there. They call your name. Oh, they call the name. And you're not going to claim that name. Remember, you're not going to make any claims. And if you claim that name, you're done. If they say, in my case, Mr. Storia, go sit over there, I'm going to ignore it, and then I'm going to pretend I didn't hear it, and I'm going to ask the judge, do you mind if I sit over there? Because then it's me asking him something, because he didn't tell me anything. He was talking to the name. I know this sounds crazy. I know that. But you're not going to claim the name, because you're a man or woman, and you don't own your name. You are not a name. You're not a collection of letters or a sound. Is there any evidence of that? Is there any evidence that you're a sound? Or something written, or a collection of letters or anything? No, there isn't. Not at all. And there's no evidence whatsoever that you own that name. I mean, you use it, that's one thing, but the ownership of it, that's a whole different thing. And the fact is, the state owns that name, because they created the paperwork. They own the paperwork called the birth certificate. You can only get a certified copy. That's the exact opposite of the original. And it even says on the VitaCheck website blog, that contrary to popular opinion, most people believe that the data and information contained on that is theirs, but legally it belongs to the issuing agency, which in this case would be the Department of Vital Records vis-a-vis United States government, and on to the Pope, I'm told. However, we're not going to get into all that conspiracy theory. We're just going to stick with tickets, get rid of them easily and effectively. So given that you don't own the name and you're not a name and there's no evidence of it, you don't even have any evidence of it, and you don't know that that's yours because you weren't cognizant when you were born. You weren't there to witness it. You don't even know. You don't even know your own birthday, technically. It's all hearsay. It's what you've been told. People tell you what your birthday is, but at the time you were born, you were incoherent. You didn't know what date it was. You didn't even know where you were. So it's true. These things are all true. Try to prove me wrong. Okay. So here's how this works. You go in there, they call the name, you say you're there for that matter. Okay, I'm here for that matter once you hear the name. And in my case, they asked me, well, are you David Storia? And I said, well, how can I be a name? And they ignored it and they moved on. So when I got called up before the judge, I had to go 3 times. But I said, hey, Judge, look, I'm here as a friend of the court. And I say that because I don't want to be the guy that they called via the summons. I don't want to do that, because then that's like me claiming the name. I don't want to do that. That's out. So what I say is that I'm simply there because I'm there as a friend of the court to try to help out. So I say I'm here as a friend of the court, and I've been told, again, you didn't open any mail that said you needed to be there, because why would you? It's not to you. I've been told that there's a controversy, meaning a claim, and that there's a controversy concerning the name that I've been known to use, allegedly. And I'd like to handle this honorably, and so I'd like to speak with the claimant. Is that possible? I mean, I have no proper notice, and I'd like to handle this honorably with the claimant. Let's get him in here. And what's going to happen is this. This is why this magical formula works. You go in there, you say that you're there as a friend of the court. We went over that, and then you say you've been told that there's a controversy concerning the name that you allegedly use, and there is, because there's somebody claiming that you did something, or that this name did something, or it owes something. Now that's fine. If somebody's claiming that, then leave it between them. Leave it between the name and whoever's claiming that. But if there's somebody, this is what you're really saying underneath. If there's somebody claiming something about you, then you'd like to honorably handle this. If you could speak with the claimant to get firsthand testimony on the matter, maybe refresh your memory, and that you'd like to handle this honorably. Say that, because that's the conditional honoring. And then say that you have no proper notice, which means you have no agreement with anyone that you know of. And if there is one, maybe the claimant could come in here and give us firsthand testimony in the matter. And so that's all you got to do. That's all, because you're accepting the claim. So there's no competing claim. There's nothing for the judge to rule on. There is no court, really. There's no decision to be made. All that needs to happen is the claimant needs to go in there and give firsthand testimony that this is what's going on. Remember, the police officer isn't bringing the claim. It's not the judge. It's not the prosecutor. It's some guy named County of San Mateo, in my case, or people of California, or state of California, or city of San Francisco, whatever it is, whatever entity it is. That's who's bringing the claim, allegedly. Well, make them prove it. Where's the city guy? And when did the prosecutor speak with the city guy in order to get firsthand testimony that that's what happened? I mean, it doesn't matter. I was on camera, remember. The cops saw me do it, and she made a report, and it went to whoever, and then that person, or that individual, the human being, man or woman, wrote something and basically said that there was charge, but they blamed it on, there's the one claiming that the County of San Mateo said this. Okay, great. So if the County of San Mateo said this, prove it. Get them in here. And they can't, obviously. There's no name County of San Mateo. Same thing with Wells Fargo. There's no name Wells Fargo to bring a claim against me. They get the $300 that they took. And this, I know it sounds crazy, but it works. The judge will zero the account. It's a little scary, and they will try to knock you off your perch. In my case, they brought out a photocopy of the license that I've been known to use, allegedly. And the judge said, "Is this your picture?" And I said, "Judge, I believe, ownership is 9/10 of the law, and possession is 9/10 of the law. And look who's holding it. Wouldn't that make it your picture? I mean, you're holding it." And he said, "Is this a picture of you?" And I asked him a few more questions. You always want to ask questions in answer to theirs, because then you're not making any statements. You're not making any claims that they can rule on. You're staying in honor, essentially. Because once you make a claim, or especially if you claim that name, you're done. Now they got you under their jurisdiction, but they cannot get you if you don't claim that name in any manner. That's why you can't plea. Don't plea. If they want you to plea, just say, how could I do that, Judge? I don't want to be meddling in the affairs of court. Who's claiming that I could take responsibility for that name? Could it be the United States has already claimed that name? I'm just here as a friend of the court because I'd like to help out and settle this honorably. Where's the claimant? I have no proper notice, right? Simple. That's it. That's all you got to do. And like I said, you're going to find some resources on my playlist channel that says claimant education. There's some really good resources there, and there's evidence that this works for any ticket. I've heard of someone, I couldn't find it, but they used it for under the influence charge and a possession charge, and boom, taken care of. And he did it very roughly too. He was like, he just spat out the things. He's all, here's a friend of the court, like to handle this honorably. Where's the claimant? And I got no proper notice. Just like that. And the rest of the time he just asked them questions when they asked them questions. Ask them to make them prove everything. Can they prove that you own a name? No, they can't, because you don't. Can they prove that you are one? No. Is there any evidence of that? No. Look, ask them for that. Is there any evidence of this and that? Uh, if there is, be glad to take care of it as long as you can meet the claimant. I mean, where's the meeting of the minds? Where's this agreement that you had with the claimant that you are the name or that you own the name? I mean, if you could get him in there, and you'd be glad to. But where is he or she to provide first-hand testimony? It doesn't exist. There is no one. All right. Now, I hope I haven't forgotten anything. And look, this was like my third video trying to help people discharge their tickets and take care of it. And so, whether or not it's a good video or not, I have put some time into it. And so I would appreciate a like. I would appreciate and I also thank you for watching this far. I really do appreciate that. That's very helpful. Because I'm going to try to put out additional content that's useful and helpful to people. Because, this system's gotten way out of control. And yeah, I'd like to go off on that and talk forever about that. But I'm going to try to keep this short and not go on any rants. But suffice it to say that I don't believe any entities or governments or anything is on our side, the people's. And anyone, whether you're black, white, straight, and you're different from me, it doesn't matter. The only one on my side is you, and the only one on your side is me. Because there's no governments on our side, no politician. Come on. We are the only ones in our corner, the people, okay? So keep that in mind. Love each other. Thank you.